Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name's Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph. Today is Sunday, November 10th, 11/10, and here we are. It has been a few weeks. Feels like a lot longer than a few weeks for so many different reasons. Most notably for me though, I have been deep in holiday countdown collection prep mode. But I'm happy to report that as of yesterday morning, they're all shipped except one. I have one I'm waiting to hear back from a customer about an address question, but other than that, they're all on their way. Matter of fact, a few people have already received theirs, which is very exciting. So if you ordered the Mystery of Color Holiday Countdown collection for me this year, or a Day 25 item, it's on its way. Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself here, but that is why I haven't recorded a podcast in a few weeks. There will be show notes in the description box below this time. There were not last time because I just did not have time to do them, but I will be doing them today for this video, so things are getting back to normal there. You can also find us. There's a group on Ravelry for the Fiber Nymph Dye Works for the podcast, but it's also the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group. I have a blog on my website, which is fibernymphdyworks.com. And where else can you find me? Instagram, Fiber Nymph Dye Works on Instagram. My personal account is just Fiber Nymph, so you can find me in both of those places. And we have a Fiber Nymph Dye Works page on Facebook, which basically gets the same content as the Instagram feed. So anyway, you don't need to be on both. One or the other will get you most of the information. Best way to stay in touch as far as what's going on, especially in the shop or any events, is to be a subscriber to the newsletter, which you can do from any page on my website. There are a couple different links to subscribe to the newsletter, and that's always the best way to know, when new stuff's going in the shop or if there's sales. Sometimes you get a little advance notice or an extra percentage off in a coupon code, things like that. Anyway, so that is all of that. There's also a membership here on the YouTube channel. If you'd like a little bit of extra monthly content, click that below. You should find join. I think it says join, a little button, and click that to see what that's all about. So anyway, that's what's going on. Before I forget, I want to let you know I am wearing the Lineage, I don't remember if it's called the Lineage sweater or the Lineage pullover. The designer is Gabrielle Vizina. I will put all that right down here so I get it correct. I knit this several years ago now out of one of my Serendipity project sets in my Mountain Tweed Merino DK base. It's just a raglan. It's really fun and stripy, and I love this color set that I did. These are non-repeatable. My Serendipity project sets are just that. They're one of a kind. But I thought we could all use something just a little bit bright today. Yeah, it's been a week, hasn't it? I don't get into politics on this channel. That's not the purpose of this channel. In fact, it's kind of the exact opposite of that. I want this to be a nice place of respite from anything crazy that's going on in our worlds. But especially if you're here in the US, this week was a week. And I know there's probably a portion of you who are very pleased with how things turned out in our election. And then there's the other contingent that are maybe not pleased at all, sad, frustrated, despondent, and there's probably people in between. I just want to say, if you are one of the latter, I empathize with you. But that said, I want this place to be a place where we can all come together on the things that we agree on, and that is the fiber arts, yarn, things that make us happy in that way, because that is something that we have in common. Enough of that. Yes, as I said, intro announcements here. Holiday countdown collections, day 25 items, those have shipped. I do have an additional pre-order in the shop right now for day 25 items only. So if you did not order back when I had these in the shop, like way earlier this year, but you would kind of like to have a day 25 item at least, you can order those. I think I'll have that up through November 23rd. I'm pretty sure is the date that I put on that. And those will ship out by December 14th. So as long as you're in the US, you should have that prior to Christmas or the New Year. I can't guarantee international arrival times or delivery times at this point for that, but that's what I have for you. I will have extra collections. I always dye extras just in case something happens in shipping, something, goes wrong. Excuse me. And once I know that everybody who's ordered has received theirs, any extras that I have, I will put in the shop. So, maybe if you couldn't order one earlier this year, but you want to try to grab one of the extras, those will be available. Probably not for another, at least a week or two. I put them up as soon as I know that particular one is no longer needed, because there's, different yarn bases and stuff. So once they start to become available, I will put them in the shop, and that's something, you can watch the newsletter for as well. On a really happy note, I want to issue a giant thank you to anyone who purchased one of my This Day We Fight items for my 2024 suicide prevention fundraiser this year. That ran from the end of September through all of October. Because I was so busy doing the holiday countdown stuff, I didn't have a chance to actually wrap up the totals of what was raised and everything until the other day, but I have done that. We raised almost $500. I think it comes to $495. So that was incredible. I was able to make 3 donations, one to each of our recipient organizations this year, which was Canines for Warriors, the Trevor Project, and CHAD, which is children and adults with ADHD. And I was able to make a donation of $165 to each of those organizations. So thank you so very much for doing that, for in that way offering hope and help to people who struggle to find a reason to stay here. Everybody needs that kind of help. And encouragement. So I appreciate you doing that. I do have some extras, some leftovers of those items, and they are in the shop now just as in-stock items, and once they're gone, they're gone. But I will continue to make that $5 per item donation for those items as well as they sell. There are a couple skeins of self-striping. There's a couple mini skein sets. I think there's 3 DK weight 50-gram project sets, and there's I think 8 of the Fluffy Hearts yarn and pattern kits, and those are actually $10 donations per item. So those are all up. Again, once they're gone, they'll be gone. I won't have that colorway in the shop again anytime in the near future anyway, but I just want you to know that those are there if you missed out and would still like to be part of that donation. Okay, there's really not much else to tell you about the shop. There is stuff in the shop ready to ship. There's always dye to order listings for a lot of different colorways, as well as semi-solids and mini skeins and inversibles. So you can check that stuff out. Now that holiday countdown season is over for me, dyeing wise, I can get back to dyeing for the shop in normal ways, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I do have some dye to order and pre-order, custom order kind of stuff that came in over the last couple of weeks that I haven't done yet, so that's my first priority this coming week. But then after that, I will be dyeing things for the shop. I'm very excited about that, and I'll tell you more about that in the next episode. So other than that, we're going to jump into the crafting, because that's the fun part of what's going on here. The other thing today is I have the September and October Project Pool Make-Along winners to announce. So I will be doing that when we get to that section of the podcast. Just wanted to let you know that. Didn't forget about that. I feel bad that it's taken me over a week to get to that, but you know, here we are. Uh, I was going to say holiday countdown collections, but that could become a drinking game. How many times am I going to say that in this episode? And, you know, it's maybe a little early for that. Have a drink of coffee. That's what I'm drinking today, coffee. We did go out to breakfast today with my son. Bill and I met Chris. We do Eaton Park a lot. I don't know. I know Eaton Park's a Pittsburgh area restaurant and maybe Pennsylvania area. I'm not sure how far it ranges. Like if you don't live in Pennsylvania, do you have Eaton Park restaurants near you? I'd be really interested to know where they're at. I've never looked that up. But anyway, that's one of our favorite places to just meet him on the weekends sometimes and have breakfast. So that's what we did today. Hence, my hair looks a little cray-cray. It's raining today. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't think you can hear it. It's coming down pretty good, but it's not really beating on the roof right now. But at least I won't have crazy sun streaming in on my face while I'm trying to record today. So always got to look for the bright side. All right. Finished objects. I will say if you watched the last episode, you will know that I was in this phase where I was just hyper fixated on making projects that would give me pigskin party points. And if you're new here and you've never heard me talk about the pigskin party, first of all, if you're new here, thank you so much for watching. If you're a return viewer, thank you for coming back. I didn't say that at the beginning, but you know, I love having all of y'all here. The pigskin party is a make-along that lasts throughout the whole football season here in the United States, that it's sponsored or run by Jen of the Downseller Studio podcast. And I have been a sponsor for this event for many years now, and I am a Pro Shop sponsor again this year. But I also get to participate if I want to, and I do. I love participating. But this year, it was a coping mechanism for me as I was in the earlier stages of getting the holiday countdown sets going and together and dyed and all that. And so I was working on smallish projects that I knew I could get done and that would give me as many points as possible, because for whatever reason, points were driving me at that point in time. That has tapered off. I have to say I'm through that phase, which is a relief because I was really kind of obsessed there for a little bit. But anyway, I do have 3 more hats that I finished as part of that. I showed you the first 2, and these are all from the same pattern called Brimmish by Sarah Shearer, who is quite well known for her gnomes. Imagined Landscapes is her design company name. But anyway, she has this pattern called Brimmish. I talked about it last time. It's a series of 6 different brims that you can do just on a plain vanilla hat. And so I did 5 of them in total because the 6th one was just a 1x1 rib brim, which I know how to do. I've done. Didn't feel the need to do that. I did want to do all 5 of decorative brims though. So I showed you the first 2 last time. The next 3 I will show you now. So this one, which is also knit out of mountain tweed merino. Actually, this is confetti tweed merino, so it's got the colored little neps. The ones I'm wearing are the regular neutral colored neps in the DK, but it's a DK. And this one was called Little Hourglass Rib. So if you look at the bottom there, you can see every other rib is just a little twist. It's really cute. I really liked it. I'm going to try it on for you. That's why I wasn't too concerned about what my hair was looking like, because I knew I was going to be putting hats on. So, yep, it's nice. This one, actually, the first one I made the largest size. Wow. And then the remaining 4, I did the next smaller size. So I think it was over 96 stitches. Anyway, these are all charity donations too, which is why I really need to record this so I can get these shipped out. So that one was Little Hourglass Rib. This one is called Sailor's Rib. So that's a fun rib. You've got the vertical columns, and then you've got every 2 rows, I guess, is like a garter ridge. So I did this and I really liked it, but before it was blocked, when I went into the stockinette part of the hat, there was such a big difference in what this textured brim looked like versus what the stockinette looked like. And so on the fly, I decided to just start adding little garter stretches in here. So there's no rhyme or reason for them. They're kind of random, but I did that. And I think on this one, I was trying to do it where this dark bronzy green showed up. Any place I came to that, I would do a little stretch of a rib. And I really like how it turned out. I thought it was a lot of fun. These are both my Bonafide DK weight base. And this was a Serendipity skein. And this is one of my bronze colors, one of my greens. I don't know specifically which one. It was some leftovers. So anyway, yeah, so I did that on that one, and I really like how that turned out. And it basically fits the same, but here, my hair's already messy, so I might as well show you what it looks like. There you go. These were all so much fun to knit. All right, and so then the final one was a rib called Stansfield number 10. I think I didn't write the rest of it down, but there was a number. I'm pretty sure it was number 10. And it was, yet again, another textured rib, a little different than the sailor's rib because there's some different texturing going on in that vertical row. But I did the same thing with the little garter segments, and I did smaller segments. I think I only did like 5 stitches at a time to try to kind of mimic these, again, the little horizontal rows of garter in the rib. And again, I really liked it. Oh, and this one I did with 2 colors because I didn't think I had enough of either to do the whole hat. So this brim and then these stripes, that was another one of my Serendipity colorways, and this was another greenish, olivey green, bronzy color, not the same as the last hat. Again, I don't know which one it was. It was just some leftovers I had, and again, it's on Bonafide. So yeah, that was, I had fun playing with the with the random nature of those little garter segments. I really like how these hats fit. They've got just enough slouch. The way the pattern's written, she does give you instructions on how to do it as a fitted beanie or how to do it as a very slouchy beanie. I kind of went in between those two. I don't like super slouchy beanies, even though these aren't for me. Again, they are charity hats that I'm going to be shipping off here, hopefully, I guess Tuesday, because Monday is Veterans Day holiday here in the United States, so there's no mail. But I need to get those shipped out. So anyway, those are the last 3 hats from the Brimmish pattern that I did. Had a lot of fun with that pattern. Highly recommend it if you want something just a little bit different for your ribs, or for your brims, sorry. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then this is another project that I did specifically for the pigskin party because this was my October challenge project. And this is called the Cerce Hat, and that is by Chit Chat Knits, the pattern. She's one of the sponsors of the pigskin party as well. So is Sarah Shira, Imagine Landscapes. She's also a sponsor, so points all around here. Anyway, I do believe I showed this to you last time. This was a very interesting pattern. I've never done one like this before, hence it was my challenge pattern. It was the challenge for October was to do something that you hadn't done before. So there were 2 things. Number 1 is this stitch motif, which I know is in other patterns. I've just never done it. And it kind of looks like little hearts, and Cerce apparently means heart in some language. I don't remember what language, but anyway, this was a lot of fun once I got the hang of doing it, and it's in the brim as well. So the way this hat works is you start by doing this part of the brim, and you're knitting it this way. So the brim is being knit in this direction, I guess, probably this direction. And then once you finish the brim and get it to the size you want for the circumference, you join it. And here's my join. I think I did a pretty good job on my join. It's really, you don't see it super well. So you join that, and then you pick up stitches all along one edge. As you're doing the brim, you are slipping stitches on the edges, so it's easier to pick up your stitches. So you pick up your edge stitches, and then you knit this lining. So this is just a stockinette lining. I had played with doing that in a fingering weight, but then I didn't. I just used, again, this is Bonafide DK. This is in my deep red colorway, which is looking far more orange on the camera than it actually is in real life. Thank you, lighting. But anyway, so, wow, it's making me look very weird too. I don't know. Sometimes I look at myself after I've recorded out here and I'm like, I look green. I'm not green. I'm a healthy shade, but sometimes I take on some weird coloring. These windows out here, I think, have a lot to do with it. But I digress. Anyway, so after you finish the outside of the brim, the decorative part, you knit this inner part. And I think that's what I was on whenever I showed it to you last, because I had knit it, and you knit it as far as, so it's the same width, obviously. And then you do kind of like this 3 needle, like you join them together, the lining with the other edge of the outside of the brim, and then those are your stitches that you have on the needles to knit the hat up, the body of the hat. So I may have been a little bit into the body of the hat, but you might also recall, if I'm remembering correctly, this was turning up. Was it turning up? No, it was rolling in. It was rolling in because I had not knit the lining as long as it needed to be. She suggested in the pattern to like lightly steam your brim so that you could get a more accurate measure for how long you needed to make your lining. And I did do that, but I did not knit the lining long enough. And so I sat this aside for a while because I knew I needed to really focus on it. And so I did finally pick it up, obviously, and I ripped out the amount of hat, took the needles out, ripped out the hat part that I had done, ripped back into the lining and put it all back on the needles. And I had put a marker in. You can actually kind of see, it was like right about there. That's where it was. And look how much more I had to knit. I mean, that's a lot. And even when I measured again, and when I measured how much lining I had, that's probably not right, because that's not where I would have done that. It was probably about here. I know it was more than an inch I had to add. So I added what I thought I needed, and then I added like a couple extra rows. And I'm really glad I did, because it worked out just perfect. So then I could, join it again and then start knitting up on the hat. And it was just such a clever design. I love how the top of the hat knit looks. So I'll try this on for you. Now, when I showed this to you last time, I also said I wasn't sure that it would be a hat I would wear. Not because I don't like how it looks, but I was also thinking it was going to be too big. It is not too big. It fits me really, really well. And it's still maybe not a hat that I would necessarily wear, because I don't feel the need to have all this double layer here. And 2 layers of DK is a lot. However, I did have Bill try it on when I first finished it, and he really liked it. He loves a lot of thickness over his ears, and it fit him pretty well. I think I have a picture. If I have it, I'll put it in here. So I think this is going to be his hat. He also likes red. I'm not sure if he cares how decorative it is or not. I mean, it doesn't scream like girly or anything, although that wouldn't bother him either, even if it did. Unless it was like a pastel pink. He doesn't do pink. But I think he likes this enough that I can give this to him, and he will have a nice new thick hat. Because it's funny, I just recently washed a hat that I knit for him way back early in our dating days, and it is not a long hat at all. It does not really cover his ears as much as he would like, and I think it's shrunk up a little bit over the years as well, because it was not a superwash yarn. It was oh gosh, I don't remember what yarn it was, but anyway, it's a little small on him. And God bless him, he still wears it. But, I think this would be a nice replacement for him. So I think he's going to get the Cerce hat. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. I knit so many plain things because I tend to let like striping or, you know, self-striping or color in some way be the focus of my projects, that when I do finally do something that has a lot of patterning in it, it can be really exciting because I just don't do it that often. I think that's why I really enjoyed doing these hats too, because doing those different brims was, you know, it was different. It wasn't just the usual 2x1 brim that I tend to do on a hat. So anyway, another finished hat. I think I've had it out for a little while. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not, but I don't have any hats on the needles at this point. All right. I did, however, in the midst, after I finished that hat, I decided I needed something else mindless, or I needed something mindless that I could work on while I was still really busy working. And so I chained on another one of these fair weather cowls by Jennifer Dickerson. You've seen me, I've made several of these. I did the one out of the deep fall colorway, which I have been wearing a lot, even just in the house when it's chilly. Then I made a couple that are going to be donations, charity donations. And then this one is my winter play colorway on my Traveler Sport Weight yarn. And I decided that I wanted this one for me. So that when I'm done wearing deep fall, I can go into winter play. And this one is, I had a full skein of this. Deep fall, I only had, I think, like 90 yards or 95 yards to work with. So it was a little tighter, not uncomfortably, so it fits really well. But this one, I ended up making it a little wider. You do this in groups of 3 stitches plus 1. So you can do it any width you want. And I added 6 stitches to this one from what the pattern officially calls for. And I still ended up stopping early. I had a little bit of yarn. I think I had like 5 grams of yarn left over. I now feel like I have fuzzies in my mouth because it was getting too long. So I, you know, I probably could have made it a tiny bit wider, but it's a nice width. It hangs nice. You know, it can fold over. Sure it can, Lisa. There we go. It can fold over, have a coat closed around it, keep my neck warm. I guess I could always, you know, put like a little pin in it here too if I wanted, or a button. I could add a button. Anyway, so yeah, nothing really to tell you about that. I think this was an, was it an H hook? G hook, H hook, I don't know. It'll be in the project notes on my project pages, which will be linked in the show notes this time. But I really enjoy this stitch. This is a block stitch and it's so much fun to do. I still have thoughts of maybe doing like an entire blanket out of this someday, this stitch. I think it would be fun. But yeah, so that is also finished. What else? I'm gonna take another sip, sorry. I'm a little froggy today. Scratchy, I don't know why. Maybe it's the weather. Bill's kind of been that way too. Okay, I have one more finished object to show you. Sorry, looking at my notes here, like, did I put that on there? I did. A pair of socks. My Customary Christmas pie socks are finished. So this was my new Christmas colorway for this year that I had up for pre-order a couple of months ago. And then I think I did another brief round of pre-orders. It's up for, it's in the shop now. You can get it as a die to order. So if you still want to get it, you can. But it's one of my pie colorways. If you're not familiar, all of the stripes, the width of the stripes are based on the numeric sequence of pi. So the stripes will not repeat and match up throughout the entire skein, as you can see. But this is the first one, so it's like 3.14159. I can't remember what this number is. 3. I always laugh because I'm thinking I should know this. For as many times as I've wound this pattern, I should have it memorized by now, but I don't. Anyway, and then any place that there's a 0 in the sequence, that color gets skipped for that round. So anyway, but I finished those yesterday, last evening actually. Bill and I were watching something online, I don't remember. What were we watching? Oh, we were watching Seth Meyers' new stand-up comedy routine, Dad Man Walking. It was hilarious. If you like Seth Meyers, super funny. So if you have access to Max, check it out. Anyway, so I finished these then. And I'm really happy with them. These have been lingering. I literally cast these on the very first day of the pigskin party, September 5th, so that they would count. And I cast them on so that I had the sample for, I usually have part of the cuff knit in my sample pictures a lot of times. And so I needed that. But then I didn't really work on it after that because I just wasn't feeling Christmas. I was very much in fall mode at that point in the year, and we were getting ready to go on vacation. And I didn't take them on vacation with me because, I had a whole cuff done already. I thought, that might, they're too far along to take on vacation. So they did sit a lot. And then finally, within the last couple of weeks, while I just needed mindless projects to work on, I finished them. So yay, have a pair of Christmas socks to look forward to wearing this holiday season, December. And that was in my bedazzled base, by the way, in case you can't see, there is sparkle in there. My usual 2x1 rib, Plainville kind of sock on US 1 needles. So anyway, all right, that is everything that I have finished, and I currently only have one other project that have actively been working on, and it's something that I cast on pretty much immediately after finishing the socks last night. Was another pair of socks. And this is a pair of Frankensocks, which are basically socks that I make out of little balls of leftover self-striping yarn. And these will be for my daughter, Emma. They'll be a Christmas present. I have had Frankensocks on my project pool make-along list for her all year, and I haven't gotten to it. I made myself a pair earlier this year, but I wanted to make her a pair, and so I'm finally getting to those. So again, this will be a Christmas gift for her. But I basically knit most of this cuff last night too. And then when we were in the car today going to breakfast and back, I worked on it some more. So I've got the heel flap, heel turn done, and I'm on the gusset decreases of the first sock already. So let's see, these colorways so far. This is all my bounce base. These first couple of stripes, those were from a Legacy, my anniversary colorway this year. This white through these two pinks. I'm totally blanking on the name of this colorway. I'll put it down here. It's one of my colorways. You would think I would know them all. I know exactly which one it is. I just can't think of it. This one, I don't know what colorway these are from. Those might be from Gathering Seashells, actually, now that I'm looking at them. I think that's probably what those are from. And then from this yellow through the purple, black, and then most of this heel flap, yeah, into the black again. That is some leftover Halloweeny. And now the little ball that I'm using, where's the rest of it? Oh no, it's buried in here somewhere. Here it is. This is a hole in the ground, my Hobbit hole colorway. That's some leftovers of that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yes, that's what it is. So anyway, it's always fun to try to remember what colorways are just based on little snippets of them. But oh gosh, I just dropped that. And yes, it did roll all the way across the floor. Hang on a minute. Okay, it's really dirty under that table. Oh, yuck. Okay. Have I mentioned I've been super busy and cleaning has not been a high priority for me over the last few weeks? All right. Anyway, so I'm hoping to do this entire sock set, the set of socks, pair of socks, out of bounce. I have obviously a lot of little minis in here. I try not to do more than like a section this big out of one colorway. That's what makes it fun, with, mix and matching different self-striping colorways. So I've got a lot in there that I can work with. There's a good bit of bedazzled in there too, but I'm trying to not use both. I don't know why. Sometimes I mix and match. It doesn't matter, and she wouldn't care. But anyway, that is my next project. This is a Whimsy Stitches bag. Isn't it cute? I love the little ghosties. You've seen that before. And the marker that I'm using is the little stitch marker. It's actually a progress keeper because it's on a little lobster claw, but it's big enough that I can use it on these US 1 needles as a stitch marker, and it's just the little rainbow marker that always comes with the Whimsy Stitches bags. So that's cool. Okay, so that's everything. That's everything that I have been working on. And again, that sock is the only thing that's actively on the needles right now. I do have the weaving that I talked about last time. I think I showed you a picture of. I have not touched it since then, but now that I have my life back and I can spend time doing that, I hope to finish that up. And I have a lot of plans because that was one of the things that I was like using to like motivate myself through the holiday countdowns at the end there. It was like what I was going to work on once they were finished. I had so many sweaters being knit in my mind, my dream sweaters that I was working on. It remains to be seen which ones will actually happen. And I'm not going to really go into that right now because, you know, it's silly to talk about things I might do because I might not do them too. So stay tuned to the next episode and we'll talk a little bit more about where that's going. I'm torn between starting new projects versus finishing things that I've already got going, like my Ariana cardigan, those little granny squares that I was doing out of hand spun. Like, should I finish those up even though they won't count towards the pigskin party? I think I would feel better if I finished up things that I've already got going versus starting brand new projects all of a sudden. So that's where I'm leaning. But again, stay tuned. We'll see how that happens. Okay, let's go into the project pool make-along. As I said at the beginning, I have September and October prize winners to announce. And I have the prizes to show you. Now, I'm announcing 3 winners. Chatter prize winner, finished object prize winner, and Instagram prize winner. If you have not taken part in the Project Pool Make-Along, it's going on all year, so you've still got November and December that you could take part in if you want to. I will link, well, it is linked below. There's the Ravelry group, and then there's also a blog post pinned to the top of the blog on the Fiber Nymph Dye Works site that talks all about it. You can participate in Ravelry, you can participate on Instagram, whichever works for you. But yeah, I would love to have you join in, even just for these last couple of months. Anyway, I have 3 prize winners to announce. I usually offer 4 prizes, so that way everybody can pick and you're not just stuck with one last item if you're the last person to claim your prize. This time I actually have a whole bunch of options for you because I've got a basket. The prize this time around is Serendipity skeins, and they are all on, let's see, they're not all on. I was going to say they're all on the same base. They're not. There's some on worsted, my cozy worsted weight base. There's one on Beguiled, and then there's a couple on Bonafide, right? Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, my nose is so itchy again. All right. So my Serendipity skeins are skeins that I just dye, like usually at the end of a dye session when I have leftover dyes. I use them to do these one-of-a-kind skeins. There's usually only 1 or 2. They're non-repeatable, but they're a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you your choices. And because there's so many and most of them are not labeled, I'm going to do them in order, and then I'm going to keep them in this order so that when you, as the winner, tell me which one you want, I'll know. All right, so we're going to number these 1 through 7, and there's some of these I do actually have more than one of, so if more than one of you likes the same one, there's a chance you could get it. All right, so number 1, this is on cozy, so this is worsted weight, and I do have 2 of these to choose from. Really fun soft colors. Number 2, also on cozy worsted weight, bluey purples with some greenish in there. Number 3, also on cozy, just blues, very bright blues. That's a little brighter than it actually is in real life, but it's a variegated blue. Number 4, this is on my Beguiled base, which is a sparkly DK weight base. These are all superwash too, by the way. So this is kind of fallish colors. Number 5, this is on Cozy worsted weight. There's only one of this one. Those first 4 I showed you, I have 2 each of. This one, there's only this one of this darker purpley teal rust color. And then these last 2, I labeled them with the intention of putting them in the shop, but then they never got put in the shop yet, so I thought I would offer them to you. And these are both on Bonafide, and there's only 1 each. So that was number 5. Number 6 is this one, pinky purple, little orange, little green. And then number 7, also on Bonafide DK, lots of green, some pink, a little bit of orange. Okay, so those are it. Numbers 1 through 7. Whenever I call your name, please, if as the winner and you hear that you're a winner, email me, let me know you won, send me your mailing information, and then tell me your top 3 prize choices by number, preferably. If you can't remember the number, like maybe just go back and watch that little bit there to know which numbers they are. I'm going to leave these in number form in basket so that I know which number you're talking about. All right, so the winners. Chatter winner, we had posts 2471 through 2805 in those 2 months, and the winner random number generator chose was post 2775, who was Polly81. Paul, congratulations, Paul. You are one of the winners, so hopefully you like 1 or 2 of those that you can choose. Let me know. Congratulations. The finished object thread, we had posts number 449 to 492. Can I just say, you guys are creating the most fabulous items. I love looking through the finished object post. I keep adding things to my Ravelry queue that I'm never ever going to get to make because I've got like a Ravelry queue that will outlast me by lifetimes. But I love your projects. So anyway, 449 to 492, random number generator chose J, J-A-Y-E. That's your username. I'm assuming maybe it's also your name. Anyway, you posted a pair of shorty socks that were made out of my A Legacy colorway. So that was exciting. Congratulations, Jay. Let me know what your prize choices are. And lastly, Instagram. There are currently 174 tagged posts. The tag is hashtag, I never get this right. I will put it down here. FTW Project Pool Mal 24, Project Pool 24. I don't have it memorized. I don't tag myself because I don't tag projects in it. But it's down there. So if you're participating through Instagram, that's the hashtag you need to use in order to participate there. But there were 174 hashtagged projects. And because, again, I say this every time just to make sure you know how this works, Instagram does not have a good way for me to see projects according to when they were made anymore. They used to, but the algorithm is screwy as all get out anymore. So I just go through, I do a count of how many there are, I do a random number generator, and then I count usually from the bottom of the list upward. I don't know why that feels right to me because they're all in there randomly. They're not in there by any date. But anyway, it chose post 21 this time. So starting from the bottom up, the way I was able to see them, that post was PA Knitwit, who is Sarah. Excuse me, Sarah. Hang on. And it actually was a post that was put up in October. That's the thing with Instagram posts, because it's so weird. It can be from any time during the entire make-along, as long as that post has not already won once. But this one was an October post. And it was a Places You Can Knit post that Sarah posted. She was knitting at homecoming dress shopping. It looked like she was working on a sock. So yay, congratulations, Sarah. Let me know what your prices or choices are. So congratulations to all 3 of our winners, Paul, Jay, and Sarah. thank you so much for participating. Can't wait to see which prize you want so I can get those out to you. And yep, we are in our final 6th of the make-along, the November-December period. Again, I'm still working, like, one of my goals was to use up leftovers from my stash, and I did a lot of that. Like these hats, the Frankensocks. I've been using a lot of leftover yarn. I feel really good about that. The Frankensocks specifically were a project that I wanted to do. So yeah, I'm still making some progress. I've gotten a lot done on my list. Now, whether you're participating and you made an actual project pool list, or if you just had a mental idea, or however you set it up, I hope you're happy with how things are working out. I know, following a lot of you guys who have taken part in the conversation in the Ravelry group, which is slowly kind of fading. Like, there hasn't been quite as much conversation lately, and I feel bad because I haven't been able to get in there and converse as much, just because it's been so busy. I'm going to try to get back to it a little bit more as we finish out the year here. But it's fun to see what you guys are doing. And it feels like a lot of you really did have good success with what you set out to do this year. And I'm glad, because that's what these make-alongs are usually meant for, in my mind, is to help you make progress on things that maybe just having another way to focus on it will help you do it. So... And I already have an idea for next year. We are going to do another make-along. I haven't totally solidified all the ideas about it, but it's coming together, and I will talk more about it next month in December. So anyway, all right, that is it. I don't have anything else to share with you shop-wise. I basically told you shop news at the beginning. There will be more stuff going into the shop now that all this crazy stuff is over with the countdown sets, and I can get back in the studio and just dye normal things as opposed to countdown stuff. Life, I'm really not sure. I'm kind of just in my usual post-holiday countdown unwinding decompression period. It's been different this year because this is the very last year I'm doing the holiday countdowns. I've done them for 8 years now. They are always a huge commitment for me, not just in the amount of work, but the amount of the year that I have to focus on various aspects of them. You know, I start putting the pre-orders up in April, and then they don't ship out till November. That's a big chunk of the year. And this year there were a lot of moving parts to, I mean, every year there is, but this year there was a lot going on because of some of the extras that I was including. It was a new challenge for myself. And sorry, I need to fix this cushion. Oh, hang on. There's a cushion on this chair that I'm sitting on, and it's lumpy. Okay, sorry. Anyway, it was a good experience. I'm really glad that I did them again this year. As one last year, like knowing that it was going to be my last year, because last year I did the Middle-earth winter ones, and part of me was thinking as I was working on them, I'm like, oh, I should just let last year be the last year, because that was like a really high spot for me. The theme was awesome. I really enjoyed that. But I didn't know that that was going to be the end, and I feel like I would have regretted not doing one more, knowing purposefully that I was doing it as my final holiday countdown. Does that make sense? Anyway, so I'm really happy with this year's. I hope you, if you ordered one, that you really enjoy it too. But now I have to think about, like, where am I going from here? Because this is opening up, not doing them again, opens up a whole chunk of creativity space in my brain. Because usually when I finish them, I'm already thinking about the next year's, even though they're not going to go up for pre-order for a few months. Well, they're not ever going up for pre-order because I'm not doing them again, but you know what I mean. In past years, like, as soon as I finish, I'm already thinking about the next year's. And so I'm not doing that now. And so I'm thinking, okay, where am I going with my creativity? And I have a lot of things. It's not like I don't have anything that I'm thinking about, but I'm giving myself some time to just, again, decompress from that. Spend some time with my husband where I don't have to say, sorry, I can't do that right now. I'm busy. I have to work. I have to work. I have to work. He is so tired of hearing those words. I have to work. How many words is that? 4. I think those are the 4 words he never wants to hear me say again, because I've had to say that to him so many times in the last month or so. So yeah, need a little respite from that. I think, gonna start decorating for Christmas soon though. It's funny. I have a group chat with some friends of mine, and the one woman texted last night. She's like, I'm listening to Christmas music. Do not judge me. It was totally unprovoked. Nobody's judging her. And I'm like, hey, go for it, man. I'm going to start decorating soon, I think. Usually, historically, I've decorated like the weekend after Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving is so late this year. And I feel like it's a ton of work to put all the Christmas decorations up. You might as well enjoy it longer if you can. And we're not doing anything really for Thanksgiving this year. It's just going to be Bill and I. The kids are going to be with their dad's family. So nobody's coming up here. And it's just going to be us. So I think I'm just going to start decorating early. I need to take my Halloween decorations down. The ones that are out in the general part of the house. The ones in my office pretty much just stay up all year. Because again, it's Halloween in my heart all the time. But yeah, so that is probably the next thing I'm going to focus on that is not work related, is just getting into the holiday groove. I would love it if the weather would also get into the holiday groove. I'm super jealous of Colorado and their snow. You and your fancy snow out there in Colorado already. I'm sure other places maybe also have snow, but I have a friend in Colorado who was telling me about it. So we finally got our first frost the other night, and I haven't been down to the garden yet to see if like my herbs that were still down there, if they're okay or if they're toasted. I did get to cut some, and I have some still out on the deck that look okay, and I need to get out there and get them as well before they're ruined. One fun thing, and I don't have a picture of it. Maybe I'll try to take a picture. I have a vining plant. I think it's called a black-eyed Susan vine. I put them in every year in the pots up here on the deck. And usually by this time of year, they are absolutely dead. Well, I'll tell you what, Wednesday morning, I looked out on the deck, and the one black-eyed Susan vine was flourishing and had a bunch of blossoms on it, which I'm sure had been on there for a few days and I just hadn't noticed because I was busy. But it was like, it had not looked that healthy all year long. And there it was. I'm like, that's what I need. I need a bright spot. It's such a pretty plant. It's funny though, because it is totally wrapping itself around this very intense weed that also grew in that pot, which I tried to pull out one time and the weed would not come out of the pot. It was like, no, I'm in here and I'm staying. But then since that vine, the viney thing was wrapping around, I'm like, okay, that vine is going to make you pretty, even if you are a weed. So anyway, I think that's all we need today, don't you? Again, I'm so glad you were here with me today. I have the feeling this episode is going to take some editing because I rambled off in different places that I need to just cut out because we don't need to hear me ramble like that. But anyway, I hope you are having a wonderful November. Remember, depending on where you're feeling things, we're all feeling things. Just remember to be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Take a deep breath. Look for the light. Be the light when you can't find it, and everything's going to be okay because there is always hope. Talk to you again soon. Love you guys.